out and not certain where to start. Instagram, welcome back. Give you guys a minute to get back on. We were just discussing the fact that we've been, on live consistently just because we want to be able to be a resource. Everybody might not be able to tap in all of the time. We are going to be releasing a lot of the lives that we've done on our YouTube. Our YouTube will give you guys the ability to kind of peruse at your own leisure. The Let's see if we can get Ivan on. It's working. It's perfect.
All right, perfect. Hello, man. ¿Cómo
All right.
estás? ¿Todo bien?
Bien, bien, bien. ¿Y tú?
Good, good, man. Everything great. All right, let's get it started, man. I'm sorry, this Instagram it didn't let me in,
Nah,
but I did a live on
it's
my end, and then it let me do it. I'm sorry, man.
nah.
All right, let's get it started.
You are okay. So
Yep.
you guys, we have Ivan on the phone. We definitely are grateful to have you. Especially considering I know you're traveling right now and it
Yeah.
is very late where you are. So I really appreciate you
Okay, man.
showing up. But I told you since the election, my phone has been blowing up. People know that I live in
Yeah.
Colombia, and it's starting to look a little realistic. What do I have to do to leave? That is a realistic thing, but a lot of people don't know where to start. So, with bringing our Move Travel Colombia experts on, like Yvonne, like our immigration lawyer, like the real estate people that can help you buy properties, it's realistically setting the tone for you to have a lot easier experience in doing so. Do you agree, Yvonne?
Yeah. They need professionals that will guide them into making the right decisions to avoid problems, man. Because if they just come here without a plan, without experts that will guide them, they'll encounter a lot of problems. And again, like, why not just get help? Like, they can get the information online, but they're paying for experts that will guide them and will avoid problems for them and will save them a lot of time. So, yeah, it's a really great resource, and especially how you said about the elections.
Yeah.
People are now valuing more location freedom and being able to leave the country and come where they treated best. I don't know if you know about that guy that talks about that, but yeah, go where you
Hmm.
treated best. It's a
Yep.
really important thing nowadays, and with COVID and everything working online, so the world has changed immensely, and you can go where you treated best. And Medellin, in my opinion, is one of the best options in the world.
Yeah, and I agree. I remember my mom coming here from Philadelphia, and she lives in like West Philadelphia, and she was so amazed what Medellin looked like
Mhm.
because um, I feel like local news, CNN, they don't really give you
Yeah,
what Colombian life is like at all. They give you like this, like it's very sensationalized.
yeah,
And realistically, Colombia is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been to, and the opportunity to come here and start to learn the local language and be immersed in the culture of Colombia, that is a realistic opportunity for many people that are watching this.
yeah. Like, in movies, for example, you can see in some movies that they show Bogota, like a small little town in the middle of the Amazon, like things like that, man. It's just crazy. Like, people don't know that here there's big cities that have really good internet. Any service that you have, or any restaurants, anything that you need that you have in the US, you'll have it here. Plus the lower cost of living, plus society that is different, great climate all the year. Like, we don't have seasons in Colombia. The whole year is a good climate
Yep.
and great customer service. Paisas, you know how they are. They have great customer service. So yeah, it's a lot of Hollywood, a lot of narcos and stuff like that. Like, they believe it's like that, but the country has changed a lot and is now a great option, especially with the opportunity to work online.
Yeah. I was literally just having a conversation with one of my best friends about working online and how important that is because I get so many messages about moving to Colombia and working on like, whoa, can I move to Colombia? What kind of work is there for me? And I'm like, none. You need to make money online for certain, for certain. But we're here about language tonight. Because I know you and I can shoot it about
Yeah.
all of the greatness of Colombia all night, but I really want to get the importance of language out there because I think it's really drastic. Before we get into, kind of the conversation, I do want to make sure that everybody kind of knows who you are. Can you kind of tell us who you are, where you're from, what made you decide to want to start teaching other people Spanish?
Yeah, so my name is Ivan Rey. I am Colombian. I'm from the city of Bucaramanga. I've been teaching for 4 years Spanish, and I tend to keep my lessons really practical. My niche, like what I teach, is basically professionals and people that have the expat life. And I decided to work because it is a job that is easy for me. It's just knowing Spanish and English. There's some basic rules, but once you get the rules, once you get like the things, just teaching them again and again and again is pretty easy for me. And it's a job that I can do online, as you said. So it gives me the expat life. Right now, I'm in Africa and I can work in everything because I'm working online. And also it gives me the opportunity to make a positive impact in the world. Of course, I love my country. I love people that come here and look at my country, like Colombia. And Spanish gives me the keys and basically helps me to be able to guide people in this journey and make them like have a better life. So the positive impact about it is a good job. I feel really happy doing it, and it's really like and like for me it's an easy thing to do because I've already had 4 years experience and it's just teaching a language, right? And it's really similar.
No.
Like I'm learning Arabic right now,
Okay.
but
That is that,
every word
that is
is
different.
just a complete different thing. But with Spanish and English, there's a lot of similarities, so it's pretty. It's a good like language to learn if you know English.
No, I definitely, and we want to stress the importance of people that are looking to move to Medellin.
Hmm.
Our relocation tours, they go to Medellin, Cartagena, Cali, some of the places that we're seeing organically a lot of expats already living. So we don't want to start anybody off somewhere where they have to be the pioneer of the expat community, but there's a lot of inroads in these different cities where the expats and the local communities are already there are already events, there are certain things that they're infused already. When we talk about the importance, you know on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it that somebody looking to move to Colombia would have to learn Spanish? Because I know a lot of people, it makes them nervous because they assume, oh, you live in Colombia, you must be fluent in Spanish. And I'm like, I am nowhere near fluent in Spanish. I just try.
Yeah. So especially the thing about trying, like trying is since the language is similar, trying is really important. What you said is really important. If I had to give an importance, that will be an 8 or a 9. It is really important, especially if you want to settle long term. Like if you're just traveling here and you go to the touristic areas, yes, they might speak English, but if you want to set your life up in Colombia, if you want to live there, if you want to go to the grocery stores, go to a tienda, buy things, all of those things, probably the people are going to speak only Spanish. So
Mhm.
just like for people to check the importance of it, try to, like where they live in America or Europe, wherever they live, try to go on in a day without communicating the language that they speak there, and you'll see how important it is because any interaction you have with others, you'll need to do it with other people and social life, networking. Like there's a lot of people don't know this, but there's a lot of rich Colombians. There's a lot of places to network with them. Dating life in Medellin, especially, is really like Medellin, Bucaramanga, Bogota. Those cities are really good for dating. So to interact with the locals, to network, and to really be a part of the culture, and to settle in a new country, you do need the language. It is really important. You can get you can like if you go to the touristic areas, you can like sort of survive like that. But you're gonna face problems because like some people just do not know the language, and you'll be like, okay, like what do I do here? You can try
Yeah.
like get around it, but it is a necessity if you want to settle in a different country to speak the language of that country, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And a lot of what we want to do is give people the tools that they need
Mhm.
before they get here.
Yeah.
Some people think about, the DIY or the kind of like, I don't know if you know the term, like
Yeah.
winging it. Like
Mhm.
it's I don't recommend that because
Yeah.
if you're looking now, there are so many different ways to start learning. I think a lot of people don't even know with Google Keyboard. Google Keyboard It's an app you can download on Android or iPhone, but it has Google Translate built in. When
Mm-hmm.
I really first got here, and I still use it all the time,
Yeah.
it allowed me to kind of at least see what it is that I needed to say.
Yeah.
Obviously, iPhones and things of that nature, they don't have translate apps, but it's in the message. So it kind of is very organic and unique as far as you don't have to leave to go. You're just in your messages. A lot of people are looking at apps. That's the biggest thing now. Learning. And I tell people all the time, because every time I go to a different Spanish speaking country, I always ask, like, what's the word for straw? What's the word for like a shot to drink?
Uh,
Because it's always
yeah.
different completely. And when
Yeah.
you talk about Colombian Spanish, I've been on a number of different of the apps, Babbel, all of them, and I didn't necessarily see like Colombian Spanish. So I
Uh,
see España,
or Mexico.
but how important is it to possibly work with somebody like yourself
Okay.
versus relying on an app if you're looking to move to Colombia actually?
Yeah, I want to say a lot of things about the apps. First of all, the app could help you memorize words but not understand the language. So you'll be able to memorize some keywords like hola, ¿cómo estás? Those things on the apps are great. However, when you want to actually understand the language, like if I ask a person with the app, what is the difference between the two past tenses in Spanish? Because we have two past tenses, pretérito and imperfecto. What is the difference there? When do you use which one? They will have no idea when to use which one, right? So to understand the language and actually be able to speak it, not to just like memorize little words that you will need, you'll need like a professional that will guide you to that. Yes, the information is online, but you're not paying for the information because like when you go to university where you pay for anything, you're paying for the person to explain it to you, to guide you, and to be there with you. A lot of these apps have information, which is good. Like you can memorize good words with that, and it's a good tool to have alongside a tutor that will help you understand and actually get the language. And what you were saying about Colombian Spanish, yes, definitely. If you wanna like learn Spanish, you should learn the Spanish of the country you're moving to. Mexico, Colombia, Panama, a little bit Venezuela, a little bit Ecuador have like a similar dialect. Okay, like the Central American countries, they're similar. But if you're going to Colombia and you're learning, for example, the Spanish from Spain, it's like you going to Miami and you start speaking British to all the
Yeah.
people. But people will laugh at you,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
oh, give me some water. Like people are like, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, so it'll
Absolutely.
make it so you sound funny, right? So definitely, like what I recommend my students is that learn the dialect or like the accent that you're gonna live in because otherwise you won't sound funny. And in Spanish, since it's a language that is spoken in so many countries, even between cities they have different accents, right?
Yep.
So like also regions, like for example, that in like inside the country, Bogota, Bucaramanga, Medellin, they speak a similar Spanish. And for example, in the coast they
Yep.
speak it more like fast. And
Fast.
so
Yep.
that's just inside of a country. Like Colombia is like the size of like it's like I'll say like two Californias, right? So in just inside one of the country, they have a bunch of accents inside of the very same country. So definitely, what people need is to learn the Spanish that is spoken in that part, because many things like straw, like your jacket, like those simple words are, for example, banana. The word banana in
Uh-huh.
all of the countries is banana, but in Venezuela is cambur. Those things like you'll never know. Yeah, cambur. Like people will
Yeah.
never know about those things. And if you learn Spanish with an app or with a teacher about cambur, and then you come to Colombia, you say cambur, people won't understand you.
Mhm.
So you need to speak how the locals speak, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I can talk about apps is that they're good for memorizing words, but to actually advance on the language and learn verb conjugations and stuff like that, they fall short. Also, like the translator app, the thing is that those translation apps were made mostly from the US. And in English, you don't have conjugations according to, for example, subject. Like you say, I play, you play, we play. In Spanish, we have yo juego, tú juegas. The verb changes according to the subject, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
The Google Translator cannot really understand that. And sometimes when you have all of those things that are conjugated, like we have even verb conjugations according to situations, and the translator just doesn't understand that and just like tells you things wrong, like wrongly conjugated, right? That's why I never recommend using the translator. If you have to use it, yeah, it's better than nothing. But the translator by itself is it makes mistakes in the conjugation because Spanish is a complex language. Like it has a like it has a lot of ways to conjugate verbs.
No, seriously, and I am definitely learning. You mentioned the two past tenses, and I'm still trying to get it. That is definitely something that I have not fully wrapped my head around. But that is the thing. Even being here for 2 years, there are people that speak better Spanish than me that have been here the exact same amount of time. Some people speak worse. But I think the overall situation that I'm seeing is everybody knows certain things. And I don't really like the apps because I think I did Duolingo for like 25 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to tell people I had a brown belt. I knew how to, like, nothing that I was actually going to use. And even somebody that had, I think it was like 600 days streak. And I asked her, like, okay, well, what can you do? And she literally was like, couldn't tell me how to order at a restaurant.
Yeah,
And those things are why you would want to move and look at a real life person and working with them versus an app. Apps are still there.
exactly.
You can choose your preference, but this is coming from somebody that's here, that uses a real life person. This is somebody that is Colombian that is telling you this is the best way if you are considering going to Colombia to learn these things. So just take that in consideration. It's all options, but it's realistically the best way to get you prepared for what it is you're going to do. Now we talk about preparation. You do not have to wait. If it's on your radar, just think about this. Now, if you don't know any Spanish, Ivan can obviously teach you the local Colombian Spanish. But if you just don't know any Spanish at all, most of the places that people will go to move for their first time out of the United States will probably be in a Spanish speaking country.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't go move all the way to Africa for the first time, all the way to Asia for the first time, or Australia or any of those places. So even still, you may need to start learning Spanish for Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, um,
23
Belize
countries.
speaks English.
23
So, you
countries. Yeah, 23
know,
speak Spanish. And even in the country I'm in Morocco, in Africa, they also speak Spanish. And the city that I'm in, they also speak Spanish. It's not official language, but people speak it in their schools and everything. They speak Spanish.
oh, wow.
So it opens the door to 3 different continents and 23 different languages. And most of those countries are in the same time zone as the US. So if you have a US work, you can like work comfortably. Like right now I'm in Africa and I'm working until 5, 6 a.m. every night, which is not ideal.
Yeah,
In Colombia, you'll work at the same time. It's basically like in the middle between the PST and the Eastern time. So it's
exactly.
great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We right now we're on Eastern Standard Time, which I came from. So 6 months out of the year, Eastern
Hmm.
Standard. The remaining time I'm on Central Time. So it's only 1 hour difference any time of the year from Eastern. And if you're used to having to deal with time zones in the United States, that's relatively fine. Whereas right now it is today's Monday here, but we're talking to Ivan on Tuesday. So
Exactly.
Spanish is really going to be important when you're looking at, okay, I'm moving, because most people, like I said, don't move to the other side of the world. They usually move to one of these stops, Colombia, Mexico, these kind of
Hmm.
things. Each individual place will have a different level of Spanish that you will need to be able to get around. You mentioned being downtown in the touristy areas. You may have more opportunities for people to speak Spanish, but I will tell you, they I would look at the touristic areas and it's like, okay, he doesn't speak Spanish. He's never been here as an opportune to go somewhere. Whereas if you are at least knowing basic Spanish, you can, like, I think we talked about safety earlier, here in like Medellin, and how it like kind of differs from America and things of that nature. And we were just saying like, hey, there's, learning Spanish, being able to hear what somebody's saying,
Hmm.
being able to even just help yourself. You have to call the doctor. That's so important. And I wanted to get into, how, because Colombian culture is different. It is completely different in America, but in some of the best ways possible. But it is different for somebody first coming. How could Spanish realistically help somebody get adjusted faster to Colombian culture?
Socializing. Yeah, the biggest part is socializing and dating. If they know the language, they will be able to socialize with locals, go to a local church, speak to the people from the country, and actually make friends and get to know the different culture. If they never understand the language, they all will only speak to people that know English, and those people that speak English are probably more westernized, like they probably went to an American or British school, and their culture is probably more Americanized than the average native that doesn't speak English. So if they want to get the culture, which is really different, they will have to learn Spanish and speak to the natives. And Colombians are really friendly. Like we're really open people. We're Latinos. We like to hang out with people, go out, So we're like that. So we're really friendly, and that friendliness can only be accepted if the other person also speaks the language and can actually like understand and create friendships with the people, and
No,
getting to know a culture. The first thing you need is the language. Like that's the first step. Like if you don't know how to communicate with them, you'll never understand anything about them, and you'll be only in that like honestly bubble with the expats, and you
yeah,
only meet the expats, but you never network with the actual people from the country. And when you're moving to a different country, yeah, the networking is important with the like other people that are from other countries, but the amount of value you're gonna get from learning a whole different culture, and it's just millions of people. Like, why not add that if you're already in Colombia, right? And also, like
no,
what you were
seriously,
saying about being aware, even if you're not looking for trouble, but let's say you're in a nightclub with your girl and a guy is talking to her, like stuff like that, like those little things. You need Spanish to understand that. What if a guy is just speaking about you behind your back? Like, you can never understand it if you don't know the language, right? What if you're dating a
yeah,
girl and the family wants to meet you, right?
uh,
That is
uh,
important.
that is
How can you meet the family? Like,
extremely important.
yeah, her dad will probably ask questions to you, and if he cannot communicate, that's like a barrier, If he cannot communicate
Yeah,
with you
big bad.
directly, that's a barrier. Like he'll get annoyed by those things, right? Like, why are you coming here? You don't even speak my language, Like he'll
Yeah,
get a little bit annoyed by those things. It's always better to come to him and show, like, also Latinos, we get happy if you speak our language, like, because it's almost like the Americans are acknowledging us,
yeah.
so when we see that they can speak our language, it means that they're caring about our culture. So it will get highly appreciated by the locals if you can speak their language. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree, and I will tell you that I went back to Florida and had a local soccer team shirt on, and there was a family of Colombians as I was walking into the restaurant, and they're like, "Why do you have that on?" And I was like, "I live in Morales," and they're like, "What?" And then we just started partying. Like I was walking in and they were walking out, and then all of a sudden we were just like, "Morales, let's go!" And like it was the weirdest thing ever. And no, everybody on the street was looking at us like we were crazy. But I was like, if you don't know Colombian culture, and to see like a local soccer team in somewhere in the United States, somebody wearing a jersey, they're probably gonna like talk to you and ask you questions and try to figure out because they're like somebody's representing. So,
Mhm.
getting some Spanish for certain is 100% a key goal to moving here. I want to talk to you because we're not going to take up too much more time, but I do want to talk to you about, kind of how your style is when you're doing these classes. Everybody comes in with different levels of understanding. They might come with 0%, they might come with 50%. How do you go about gauging your new clients that come in? And really setting the tone and making them feel comfortable with the courses and classes that you offer.
Yeah. So I try to focus on their goals. If they're a professional and they just want it for business, I tend to focus on that. If they're an expat, I try to focus on scenarios where they practice. So what I do is that I basically teach them vocab for a situation. Let's say going to the mall. Okay, the situation is going to the mall. They want to go to the mall because they are a person that goes to the mall a lot. In my first lesson, I do discovery questions. I ask them about themselves, all of this in Spanish to get to know their goals, what they like to do, like things that they'll use in Spanish. Because I know about the person, hobbies, interests, and stuff like that. I can tailor my lessons to what they're doing. So in the first lesson, I ask questions, and then I find a situation that they'll enjoy, or it will be a good like a starting point. And then what I do is I teach vocab, going to the mall, for example, the name of the stores, tienda, stuff like that. And then the verbs, quiero, I want, pagar, to pay. Then I teach them the verbs, the correct pronunciations and conjugations of those verbs, and then we do role play. We apply little vocab, verb vocab, and then we apply on role plays, and then I give them homework. For example, when I teach them how to go to a restaurant, the homework I give them is go to a restaurant and try to order all in Spanish. If you can record it, and I'll check it for you. All of my students, when they do that, they come like, oh my God, Ivan, it's like our fourth lesson and I'm already ordering things in Spanish. So it's like, I tend to be really practical in my lessons. I don't agree with the style of just giving you a table of words and you just repeat after me. No, I don't like that, because that is just flexing memory, and something that you'll forget the next day. I tend to be practical. This is for this, apply it. Boom, 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 boom. That's my style of teaching. It's it's not great for students that want to pass like an exam or something like that,
Yeah.
but it's great for expats and professionals that want to apply it immediately, right? I don't teach you writing or reading, because you already know how to read, right? Like that's pointless nowadays. You can just outsource that with ChatGPT. I teach you the practical things, what you actually need for the language and for your personal scenario. And most expats just need speaking and listening. That's the majority, and getting to know the vocab to speak it and listen to it. So yeah, I'm really practical with my lessons.
No, that's perfect. 'Cause I know a lot of people are kind of nervous. I'm a person that learns something new like all of the time, but you'd be surprised. Some people haven't really gotten into what it feels like almost as a setting. And being going back into something like that after years of being out can be very difficult. What would you tell somebody that is watching this that is like really nervous about like if like where do not necessarily where do I start, because they can obviously start with you, but like getting over the nerves of learning a new language, what would you tell somebody that is definitely has that fear in them?
So, like in regards to people that can get nervous, is that there's no rush. Like it's not a race. Like they're taking their steps with time if they wanna get like location freedom. It all takes time. It'll be a journey of 6 months probably to get them in a good level that I feel they're comfortable to go to Latin America. It'll take 6 months. It'll take the time that it takes, but if you do what is right, if you put in the effort, you'll get it. There's no point in getting stressed. Like um, it's all about working hard. Like it's just like exercise. It's just like when you were learning how to ride a bike. Like it's just like any skill. If you put in the work and the effort, the time too, you'll be able to get it. There's no rush. There's no teacher. Like I cannot grade you. I cannot tell your parents that you did wrong. Like there's no rush. Like it all depends about you, and I'm here to help them. Like they should view me as a friend. That's why also like I do conversation and try to bond with the student, because that way they'll be more relaxed with me. And I'm a really open person. Like I tell them like for listening practice, I'll share them a little bit about myself for them to be more comfortable with who I am. Depends on the student's goal, depends on the student's personality, but yeah, they can view me as a friend, and I'm a really open person that always tries to create like a bond with the student so the student can share more, and I can actually discover more about him to help him more with his goals. So that I'll tell them not to worry and that there's no rush. That's it.
Cool. So nobody has any concerns about, getting started. Yvonne is going to take it nice and slow, make sure you feel comfortable, give you guys a kind of assessment to understand where you guys are, and then be able to go build from there based off of what kind of goals you have. So before we get out of here, I want to make sure that everybody knows, once again, Ivan's information is on Mood Travel Colombia. You go to the experts tab. He is down there. His contact information is there. I did see, don't you offer like a free first class or something like
Yes.
that? Can you tell me about that?
Yes. I recorded one of my free first lessons, and it's a basic video with the basics, pronouns, and how to ask questions. That is the first thing that anyone has to learn in Spanish: how to reference people and how to ask basic questions. Because with that, they can survive a little bit. The
Hmm.
first thing you need is how to ask questions. So I recorded like 30 minutes or no, probably like 20 minutes lesson. It's on my
Hmm.
YouTube, on my Twitter too, and yeah, if anyone wants it, I'll drop the link. I'll send it to you later on to the website.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a small little lesson that gives you all of the basics that you need with Spanish. Also, you can see like my style of teaching and
Exactly.
and how I manage my things. Yeah.
And we're all about giving, people, you mentioned your style. There are styles for everybody. We're going to continue to connect you with experts that, we want to make certain that you guys just feel comfortable in what it is you're doing. It took a lot for me to go to move to Colombia. It was definitely a life-changing experience. I had some Spanish when I came here. I realized because I learned my Spanish in Cartagena, and then I got to Medellin,
Mm.
and as you said, this Spanish is completely different, which most people would think that's kind of backwards. Like, how did your ear train for the faster Spanish and the slower Spanish you're having a difficulty with? But those are the nuances of everything that
Uh-huh.
you always have to take into consideration. I will tell you one thing that a lot of people are worried about because I think we've got some veterans and coming on tomorrow to speak about veterans. I know that's a big thing in America. Veterans may be looking to leave the United States. There's a huge veteran community down here, as well as parents. There's
Hmm.
families that are looking to move down here, and what does that look like for them? The kids that I know that have been here for even 6 months, they have become fluent in Spanish. See, kids are really like sponges. They learn a lot easier than adults, and these kids are learning Spanish and speaking more Spanish. I've seen a kid literally talk to his nanny in complete Spanish and then look at his mother and talk to her in English because he knows that she doesn't speak Spanish and she can't. And the kid was like 3, 4 years old.
Yeah.
So you'll see how Spanish is something that you guys, once you kind of get used to it and get learned into it, if you're coming here with the family, it's something that will be able to help you get into the culture a lot more. And you'll really find that the culture here is something that is completely a 180 from America in some of the best ways possible. I'm looking forward to December 1st. You already know the fireworks start December 1st. Christmas here is an amazing time. Magical. Are you gonna miss it? You gonna miss it, right?
Maybe no, man. Hopefully, I can come earlier. I'm gonna see if I can do it earlier, but hopefully not because Christmas and New Year's also. Oh my God, it is really nice in Colombia. Like people celebrate that like it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
always a
I'll try
great
to go.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, what you were saying about
And
maids. I want to add something real quick. Something about maids. Like the little kid was able to learn Spanish, and he's the one sharing and learning about the culture and learning about Colombia with the maid. His mom is not going to learn anything about Colombia. Like probably won't be able to share with the locals. But his kid is having a whole different experience just because he knows Spanish. Right? He will be able to socialize, to get context, and to learn about the country way easier than his mother because his mother doesn't speak the language. Right? It was just like
mhm.
a little thing that made me think about.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, because I know a lot of people are concerned about that. So we'll bring some people on that have kids here that they're in schools and they are learning Spanish as well, teaching their classmates English also. It's a very unique experience out here, and a lot of people are just considering where do I fit in? I'm a veteran. I'm looking to remote work and transition into remote work. These are all things that people are considering. So we're going to continue to bring these people to you live. All of these lives will get up on YouTube and make sure you know how to be able to watch them, peruse them as you would like. But Yvonne, I appreciate you for being a sounds of Colombia. Um, I appreciate you being a late night warrior over there in Africa. I cannot wait to see you over in Medellin, hopefully
Yeah.
soon. Get you back to Colombia. Congratulations. I know you told me you're getting married or you just got married. So
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We will be on tomorrow to talk more about the relocation tours, how to move to Colombia, some practical tips that you guys need when considering what it is that Medellin offers for you, your family, even your dog. So we've got it all for you guys. Yvonne, thank you for staying up with us. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Turn your notifications on because if you miss it, you're not going to be able to ask your questions. These are live. YouTube is not. So do yourself a favor if you are considering moving to Colombia and make sure you guys follow us. Until then, I will see you, Yvonne, and I will see the rest of you guys tomorrow.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you.
Thank
Bye.